Have you ever come to a point where you were curious about something? Or maybe it had gone to your thought this question. How does it feel to masturbate? Maybe you have heard it from your friend, or maybe you have heard it from things that are on the internet, or maybe you have seen it in pornographic sites or materials that you have bought in your local stores, or maybe you just become ignorant about it. That's why it led you to do it. So sit, relax, and enjoy as we discuss about masturbation. What is masturbation? Masturbation is a sexual act that gives us satisfaction upon ourselves. Mostly it is done by both male and female, that they will touch their own genitals. The reason with it is that since some of us have no partner, and mostly people nowadays crave for sex, and because they have no partner, they tend to do it for themselves. That's why masturbation is like a normal thing nowadays. There are four triggering factors that I have discovered why people do masturbate. The first reason is because of watching porn. Watching porn gives us the sexual drive that help us feel this arousal sensation within us. And also, pornographic materials tend to alter our mind by imagining it that we are doing it with someone else also. So mostly those who are addicted to porn tend to also masturbate often. So second triggering factors. Masturbation helps relax our body. In what way? For example, there's someone who is having a hard time sleeping, and because he cannot sleep, he tends to masturbate. Masturbation helps the body relax and calm down after doing it. That's why people often do it, so that they can sleep at night. So thirdly, masturbation has a medical benefits or health benefits that we can get it from. And one of those examples is prostate cancer. People who are diagnosed with a lesser regeneration in the semen often will be advised to masturbate in order to help the genital be cleansed from the virus of prostate cancer. And fourthly, then the last one is they just want to satisfy their own personal desires. But as a Christian, is it really okay to masturbate? So before we answer that question, in this video I have prepared two kinds of views, or let's just say groups, who are those who are in agreement to it, and those who are not in agreement to it. So the first view that we're gonna talk about is the view of Betty Dodson. Betty Dodson is a sex educator who encourages his students for masturbation. Betty somehow find it hard to have sex with the opposite sex, because firstly it needs time. You need time to adjust with them. And secondly, somehow it also gives some kind of responsibility that you don't want to hold. That's why he advocated the the banana business, that or she advocate a way to satisfy themselves. Now the second view is Dr. Ian Kerner. According to Dr. Ian Kerner, they have the same view with Betty Dodson, that they want to achieve self-discovery for people who are not interested in getting married. They gave them the opportunity to discover themselves through masturbation. According to him, a guy must experience masturbation in order to know, in order to feel the self-care that they need, and also in order to satisfy themselves. Instead of having a partner, why don't you do it yourself? That's what he said. He wants to deliver to the world that you don't need a partner to experience sex or to experience satisfaction within yourself. So there are also two types of people who does not agree to masturbation. The first one is John Piper, a famous theologian. He believes that masturbation falls short of Christianity outside marriage, and has given a reason for it. Firstly, he argues that God designed sexual pleasure for the context of marriage. A cornerstone of Christian life, marriage was built on love and sacrifice, foster a deep emotional and relational connection between spouses. Masturbation, by contrast, focuses solely on individual satisfaction, isolating the physical act from this vital aspect. In Piper's view, this separation undermines the deeper purpose of sex within marriage: to express love and strengthen the bond between partners. Secondly, Piper argues that masturbation can be a hindrance in achieving sexual purity, a concept emphasizing control over one's desire. He believes that act itself, along with the fantasies that often accompany it, can fuel lustful thoughts and habits and struggle with lust. He contends can make it harder for Christians to maintain purity and focus on their faith. Piper suggests that masturbation might distract a person from pursuing other important aspects of their Christian lives. According to Wayne Grudem, also a famous theologian and author, he has a different view compared to John Piper. John Piper says it's a sin for Christians who aren't married, but for Grudem, he doesn't say that outright. There are few reasons for the difference. First, Grudem focuses on what the Bible clearly tells about. The Bible doesn't directly mention masturbation, but it does talk about sexual immorality. Gruden thinks it's more important to understand those clear teachings than to worry about something the Bible doesn't say about. Second, Gruden might care more about why you're doing something than what you're actually doing. Even if masturbation isn't a sin, Gruden might believe it's important to avoid getting carried away with lustful thoughts. No matter what kind of sexual activity you're thinking about, if you're just doing it for fun and not thinking of lustful thoughts, it might be a different than using it in a way that may goes against your faith. Gruden did not say it's a sin. Doesn't mean he thinks it's great. There might be other reasons in his teaching that make him think it's better to avoid it. Also, remember that different Christian groups have different ideas about what the Bible means. Gruden's view is probably more relaxed than other some stricter churches that might see masturbation as a clear-out sin. In the end, Gruden's view in the Bible doesn't give a definite answer on masturbation. By focusing on the clear teaching of the Bible and avoiding lustful thoughts in any sexual activity, Christians can make their own choices about this kind of things. Now, mostly for us Christians, we tend to think that it's okay to do this because God will forgive. Now, I will somehow both agree and disagree with the views that these theologians were given. Firstly, I would like to agree with both Betty and Dr. Ian Kerner that masturbation really helps people that are having hard time sleeping or having a hard time relaxing, because it really gives us that kind of sensation in our body. But what I'm not gonna agree with is that the idea of making it normalized, making it something that people must do, or something that requiring others to do so that they might discover the self-worth. There are many things that we can use for us to discover our own worth, and masturbation is not one of those things. Now, secondly, I want to agree with what John Piper and Wayne Gruden said about it. Although it's in the context of marriage, but it really apply for all of us Christians, but we must not engage in this kind of activity. Although it's not a clear out prohibition from the Bible, because it does not really specify things, but what I'm really certain about is the idea that it falls in the category of sexual immorality. Now, in my own view on masturbation, I think it's really wrong for us to masturbate. Not just as a Christian, but a human being as a whole. Because although it gives us this kind of satisfaction, it gives us this kind of like enjoyment in ourselves, but it will also destroy our mentality. Remember that masturbation is a byproduct or or the result of watching porn. And you know that how often you watch porn is also how often you masturbate. And within us, we cannot deny that if we do it very often, it will also destroy us. Not just mentally, but also physically. I have this one classmate who was very addicted to pornographic materials, to the point that even in the school he watched this kind of thing. And as the time goes by, I realized that he was changing day by day in his everyday life. So I thought to myself, what happened to him? Turns out he became addicted to it. Not just in watching porn, but also doing masturbation. And we cannot deny that it will also lead them on doing other stuff that is really illegal, just like rape or kidnapping or sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and that's all and all. To sum up my topic for tonight, let me go back to the first question that I asked earlier. Is it really okay for a Christian to masturbate? For me, the answer is no. Because as Christians, we need to follow Christ's example. We need to follow Christ's footsteps. And how do we follow Christ's footsteps? By living a holy and a pure life. I know that it is really a struggle for us, because as human as we are, we really tend to masturbate. We really tend to do these things. We really tend to sin against God. But I want us all to remember, we need to place our faith in Jesus Christ. We need to ask for protection. We need to ask for guidance, and we need to ask for knowledge that can help us overcome this kind of struggle within us. I'm not saying that when you surrender yourself to Christ, your life will be changed overnight. But when you surrender your life to Christ, and you follow Him, you follow His footsteps day by day, that's the time where you will experience God's mercy into your life. Even ministers are having a hard time in dealing with this kind of problem. Even those pastors who are already married also having a hard time with these struggles. And as an encouragement for all, I want us all to remember that we as Christians, we are the temple of Christ. Christ lives within us, so let us always take care of ourselves. I hope and pray that this will be a great lesson for us, and I have instilled some basic knowledge about my topic tonight. Thank you, and God bless.